Now, if you're a married couple and then you're going into retirement, this conversation is extremely, extremely important because we're going to dive into a scenario where this couple came into our office, what they're thinking when they come to our office and after basically meeting with us, completely changes their dynamics, right? So watch. So remember we had this conversation with a client that basically came in, they're all super excited. They've done well, but then they have this retirement, thinking that they both collecting Social Security, and then if one spouse passes, that they're still gonna continue collecting two Social Securities, right? And then, so if we put things in context, right? So one, he is mainly the control, right? I mean, he does all the finance and all that. So the wife kind of like, take a back seat, right? And then we also know that when you think about all the stats, right? Women tend to live longer. So when they came to us, he's absolutely convinced that their retirement would be okay, but we have seen a kind of like a hole somewhere in their Social Security strategy piece, right?
Right.
So can you talk to him about like, what he said about like, having two Social Security income coming in and then if he passes?
Right. So I think the misconception that they had in that particular scenario was they thought that those two Social Security incomes would continue to come in even if one person passes. Whereas we know, no, that's not the case, right? You go down to one.
Right.
And then the other thing would just be, I think, one of the things, and this doesn't have to do with Social Security per se, but like one of the things that people don't think about is some of your income's going to go away, right. But then what's the tax ramifications too? Because now you're a single filer versus a married filing jointly.
Right.
In, couple. So things like that also come into play that people don't think about.
Right.
It also has ramifications and or your Medicare premiums. There's a lot of different things that happen when one spouse passes that folks typically don't think about.
Absolutely. And I think in this scenario, what we have done is we sat down with them and then be able to demystify. Well, number one, you believe that if one of you passes, the surviving spouse will get both Social Security. We know that's not the case, right? So yes,
nice, but...
yeah, exactly. So they'll go down to one, right. And the surviving spouse will pick the highest. But what we also point out to them is, what about their surviving the spousal benefit? Because they believe that the surviving spouse is going to get what, like 100% of that?
100% of the pension too, right? Which that's not. What the government says is the maximum amount is 50% of the other individual, the employee's pension amount. Which, if you think about it, yes, I mean, that makes sense because the surviving spouse wasn't a federal employee. So, why would you get 100% of the pension? I mean, one could argue that too. But yeah, so 50% is the maximum amount a surviving spouse can get of the pension.
Right, and I think it was kind of like an eye-opening scenario for them when we pointed that out. So not only they came into the office thinking that they're gonna get two Social Security income, they're gonna get the maximum survivor benefit. I mean, like 100% of like that his pension. Come to find out, no, that's not the case. You're gonna go down to one Social Security, and then the pension will have to go down to half, right?
Right.
I think you could see. In her face, like,
and everything else. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, and that's the importance of planning, right? Because if you're thinking the numbers are one thing and then the numbers are actually a different set of numbers, then what does that do to your overall retirement lifestyle?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you're a federal government employee, so one of the things, this is a real life scenario, and one of the things that actually help these federal employees is the fact that we're able to demystify, to let them know that, hey, your initial thought about retirement is not actually the case. So thank God they came to our office. And now what we are able to do for them is to be able to show them a scenario whereby they can have some sort of like a stable income coming in that they feel they can enjoy their retirement. So if you like this video, please subscribe and then come back to this channel, because this is where we put important information for federal government employees. That way you can make smart choices about your retirement. So until then, take care. Bye.